Mouth Media here with Liz from Anvil. Yeah. So I heard through the grapevine that when you guys made the album, you had over 20 songs. Was it hard to weed out like which one's going to make it onto the album?
No, well, basically we recorded 16 of them, and we picked the best 12. That's all. Simple as that. And when you listen and you get used to what's there, it makes itself very apparent which ones are the best ones, and you just remove the other stuff. Use them as extra tracks.
And also, today is the release of the CD. Do you have anything special planned for tonight on stage?
No, but you never know. I'll have to think about that.
After your last documentary, I mean, with the recognition.
We've only done one.
Well, yeah. Well, your only documentary. After the recognition you guys got after that, I mean, would you guys ever think about doing another one?
It's being talked about. It's not going to be anytime really soon. We're looking at something like 2 or 3 years from now. Yeah. So see what the aftermath actually is, so that people could see this was somewhat of.
Fans would really want to see that.
Yeah, well, there's been an incredible outcry for it. Everybody wants to see it already, and it's like not enough time has gone by.
Look, Louis is right. I mean, we definitely love to see another documentary, see how you guys progressed from where you were.
See what happens. But it's interesting. The Sasha, the director, he doesn't want it to seem as much like a sequel as much as something completely new and catch you off guard. He's looking to do something that you would least expect. He says that's the only way that he would be interested in doing it. He says just to continue the same old thing,
Yeah.
it's not gonna work.
It's awesome he's thinking that way. That's great.
Yeah, well, I don't disagree. I just don't see the point in continuing showing the same kind of stuff. I think people they be seeing what they expect, and that's not so exciting. So I think he's coming up with. He's a very, very brilliant guy, and he's got some great ideas, but I'm not at liberty to talk about them.
I like to surprise myself.
Yeah, so that's the way that's the name of that tune.
Yeah. Now, you guys just came off, or not just came off, your European tour, but I mean, what were the big differences in going back a second time than before?
Well, you have to understand that Anvil's been popular in Europe for 3 decades. So what was different?
Well, the documentary made it.
What was different? What was different is that we were getting paid.
Yeah, the best difference.
Which is, I mean, it doesn't get better than that, does it? That you're not biting your nails and freaking out and grabbing bar owners by the throat. Give me my money. Those kind of things weren't happening, and those are the things. That's all good. That's not. Basically, of course, nothing else changes. The songs remain the same. The shows are just as energetic and exciting, if not more.
But if you can get paid for it, it's even better.
I think that what is most remarkable is that, of course, now to begin with, there's an audience. But aside from, you have to understand that the film was edited, and not all shows were empty like it was in that one gig that they showed. They showed an example of what goes on when you go out there, yes, and that's as accurate as you get. What's it like on a Monday night in Prague? Well, we all know now, don't we?
Almost worst case scenario.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to, and it's dramatic. You see it for what it is, and it's the reality. Most bands would never even dare think of showing such a thing, because what is that saying about your band? Well, actually, in reality, what it's saying about your band is that life is not perfect. That it's another day at the office. If I owned a hardware store or a clothing store or a variety store, anything, is every day going to be the same? Is every day going to be the same? Is there going to be a lineup of customers every day? Probably not. There's going to be a couple days, maybe during the summer, that not one person walks in the whole bloody day. Yeah. And for us, we played on a Monday or Tuesday night somewhere in Europe, and it's raining out for freezing or whatever, and you get 5 people there, it's not unusual. All the bands deal with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I know you guys play a lot of huge festival, like 70,000 people and stuff like that. Do you like shows like that, or you rather a smaller venue for a more intimate show? Do you have a preference, or?
I do, but it doesn't mean that it's not etched in stone, because obviously, you see, everything's a balance. You know, you play in front of 70 or 80,000 people. Obviously, there's a rush that you don't get that from a small club. But having said that, you also don't get the intimacy like you're saying. And it's not like I want to have sex with everybody in the crowd, but I at least want to make eye.
You guys,
I at least want to make eye contact.
Yeah. And speaking of big shows, are you guys playing any big festivals this summer? Anything coming up for Anvil?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Name a few.
Metal Town in Gothenburg in Sweden.
That's awesome, man.
It's Grass Pop, which is a huge metal festival in Belgium. I'm sure there's a number of them. I actually don't have the itinerary, it's just stuff I actually picked up off the net.
What am I doing next summer? Yes.
Yeah, well, actually, what happens is I get emails from fans going, "I'm coming to see you," and I'm going, at this festival, I go, "Hey, we're playing the festival."
That's awesome. Well, it's great that you guys are now playing like nonstop. Like,
yeah,
it must have been great to be able to quit your day job.
Well, that is the best. I mean, come on, man. I did 15 years of doing deliveries like that, basically what happened was, in the first few years of the band, I didn't have a regular job, and I was working all the time. In fact, 40 weeks out of the year at the beginning of our career was no big deal. And the gigs, the way that they worked, they were club dates all over Quebec and Ontario, and they were 6 sets a night, 7 days a week. Damn. So those days, of course, went away, because times have changed, and now, and of course I didn't have a job then because I was out working. You were able to work 40 weeks a year out on the road, although I was not making a real living, but I was living on the road, and which is, leaving who is now my ex-wife at home, and that's why it's an ex-wife. And after that period of time, of course, we were assigned to an independent Canadian label who would not license the music in the United States, and since you don't have that, then you don't have management, you don't have any support.
Well, things have changed, and for the better.
And you end up playing in obscurity, like we did. But like I said, we've always done well in Europe. Our entire pretty much most of our entire catalog was recorded as a result of having the support of record companies in Europe. And what happened was, a fan who's originally from England and met us in 1982, put the movie together. Began making a movie in 2005. He had grown up to be a screenwriter, and for Steven Spielberg, nonetheless. And he decided to make the movie. At which point, of course, I knew I think anybody would come to realize very quickly, a guy like this, Hollywood, going to make a movie about Anvil, we're going big. That was the first thing come on, man, I'm Canadian, I'm not stupid. Yeah. You know what I mean? I know what it means when when you get somebody of great background coming in from Hollywood. This is not going to be some guy with a video camera. This is the real deal. So I knew that it was really, really serious. And having known that, I figured it's going to be huge. It ended up being huge, and I think that's. I'm not saying that I take it for granted or I expected it or in any way. I think the moment when he told me was unbelievable. I mean, I broke down crying. I was freaking out because in a split second, 30 years of trudging in these clubs and doing all this was validated. It all had a reason.
Yeah.
There was a story to be told. Everything.
It was a great story.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it was a great story.
Great story.
So, I mean, you guys have been playing together for ages. It's a long time.
Yes.
No doubt about it. So, I mean, do you guys have a favorite song to play when you're on stage? Like, one that just brings the whole band together?
I don't know.
Choose from.
Kill the guy, man.
You know what? It's funny because I never get tired of anything we've ever done. I never have a complaint about any songs that. If I don't like to play it live, or if we don't capture it the way I envision it or hear it to be, we don't do it. You know, there are songs that I mean, you got to realize if you got over 140 songs, there's going to be a few that you just never bothering going to play, never not going to bother. I've slowly over the years picked the cream of the crop, so to speak, and now it's been a real pleasure because, and which I'm very excited about, is the new album, and reason being I think it's extraordinary on the level that my biggest known album was Metal on Metal, and I've been basically forced to continue playing those songs. Not that I'm begrudging it or bitter about it, but I've recorded a lot of albums since then that are just completely, we call it the dark era. No one knows about them. So, having said that, here we are. There's been a hell of a lot of publicity. A lot of people have been introduced to the band, but still by large, what is known now as the first 3 albums, This Is 13, and everybody's looking forward for Juggernaut.
Yeah. I heard a few songs like Fucking A and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
if the whole album's that good, you guys won't have
now
any problems.
for the first time since Metal on Metal, we are actually able to play every song on the record live. And it's all
That's a big change.
And it's all that top notch. There isn't anything that is substandard that I don't want to play. If anything, the only reason that I might not play some of them still, I haven't got the lyrics memorized.
Well, like you said, that goes back to having 140 songs, you know?
Yeah, well, it's not that. It's you know, I haven't got the TV sets mounted in the by the monitors so I can read the lyrics. So it's like they got to be memorized.
Yeah, exactly.
And when an album is new, the songs are relatively memorized, the lyrics and stuff. But when you're adding to a set and there's so much, see the transition. The thing is, you have to understand that when I record these songs, I record everything separately so that I'm playing my guitar, and then when I'm singing, I'm just singing. So what happens is, after I finish an album, I've got to put all those components together and perform it all at once. And in doing that, there's under tracks that don't get played, so I have to find the right parts that I've put in the recording to play in a live situation. So it's almost like relearning the whole song and to be able to perform it in all at once. So this time I've been able to do it with every song, which is wow, really, really good, man.
Awesome.
And because of the approach to the singing, it's all within my range. There's no pain at all or discomfort in performing it and singing it. Whereas in some of the older songs, I was singing at the top of my range, and you put those in the set, and it's hard to do it every night. I mean, that's the truth.
Well, yeah, it's draining, that kind of stress.
Yeah, you're actually, because you pushed your body to an extreme when you recorded it, and now you've got to perform it live. That means that you've got to do that every night. Well, it was well and fine when I did it once or twice in the studio, but when I did it, I only had to do it that day.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do it every day for for 6 weeks. That's different. And it's not just the one song, it's a number of them. So in this particular case, it's been amazing. We go to rehearsal and we rehearse all 12 songs, and it's totally painless. I could even venture to say I could actually smoke a joint and still sing.